Hey folks, welcome to the first real video of this channel. You may know me as the Slifer Slacker, knower of all things Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. But we're not talking about that today. No. We're taking a look at one of my other big franchise loves, Ben 10. And more specifically, one of the later sequels to Ben 10 that I have unfinished business with. Let's get into it, shall we? I really love Ben 10. When the show first aired back in the mid-2000s, I was the perfect age to get into it, and my tendency to hyperfixate on things spared no expense with making Ben 10 my latest in a long line of lifelong obsessions. Hell, I even had a family friend make me Ben's shirt, which I wore to school all the time with my toy Omnitrix. I was a full-on Ben 10 fanboy, and that love for the series has never really left me. When Alien Force aired, despite initial skepticisms, I was just as hooked, and religiously followed the series and its online fandom all the way through until the end of Ultimate Alien. I'd grown up with the show, and Ben grew up with me. It was one of the best things about being a fan. Seeing Ben's journey towards being a true hero, and getting excited to see him grow up with the rest of us. It even had some of the best people from some of my favorite shows, Justice League Unlimited and Batman Beyond. The franchise had me totally hooked all the way through. Unfortunately, when the fourth version of the series aired, my enthusiasm for it started to dim. Omniverse wasn't the show I grew up watching. It was different. It was goofy. Ben was back to being all snide and cocky, the Omnitrix didn't work anymore, and everything I loved about the original show through Ultimate Alien just seemingly evaporated in a puff of smoke. Just like that. I did keep up at first, but around the time the third season ended, I had really drifted far away from it, and I no longer enjoyed the show that I had loved for such a long time. Sure, I occasionally watched the odd episode here and there if it piqued my interest, but as far as I was concerned, Ben 10 was done. I've seen pretty much all of the important stuff in it, but I won't lie to you and say I've seen all of it. Even as I write this script, I'm struggling my way through it again, because I so desperately want to find something I was missing. Something that would let me love it, like I loved everything that came before. But that's proving hard. I do like things about the show, a lot of things, but I dislike just as many. Now, I need to take an aside here and tell you guys something straight up. I'm going to be negative in this video. It'll be negative in the name of being constructive, but if that's not the kind of thing you want to stick around for, I get it. If you want a genuine, all-positive take on Ben 10, go watch Kuro and the Ink Tanks videos. I love those boys. They're doing good work and really shine out as a light of positivity in this fan base. But I'm not Kuro. I know there's a lot of people that feel very strongly about this series. It's essentially the dividing line for a huge swath of the fan base. So I'm aware that going into it will probably catch me some flack. I have grievances I need to air. This show and I have unfinished business, and I'm gonna try my best to close that business. Now, is Omniverse a bad show? Not exactly. It's well animated. The sound design's pretty awesome. I mean, just listen to that Omnitrix. Hell, characters like Rook, Blukich, and Drieba are really fun and fantastic in my opinion. It also has what I consider some of the series' best and most entertaining episodes. Hell, they got Steve Bloom back. That's a huge point in its favor.
Run from me for the rest of your life, Ben Tennyson. For at long last, the universe is once and truly mine.
But again, there are criticisms. First, I feel like a lot of the said criticism that gets lobbed at Omniverse is exclusively about the art style. And honestly, the art style is far from the problem I had with the show back in the day, and it remains a non-issue for me now. Derek's art isn't my favorite, but I don't really think it's worth eclipsing every other talking point, especially since it's a subjective issue in the first place. You either like it or you don't, and that's up to you. No, the main issue I had with Omniverse was its character writing. As Kuro once said,
Omniverse like to present ideas that I would argue are genius and so unique and exciting, and just carry them out in the worst ways. If Omniverse had the chance to take things seriously or tell a joke, they would most likely go with the joke. This isn't always the case, no, don't get it wrong. But it's enough to flat out ruin a lot of good potential stories and moments. Things that may seem funny on paper, like a blue space duck whose name is literally Captain Rad Prophet Danger Trouble Dudesman, may render a chuckle in the writer's room. But after the process of actually scripting, voicing, animating, and releasing these little writer room jokes, they become oversaturated and lose their charm, and just come off annoying, and sometimes, dare I say it, cringy.
And I think he's absolutely right. The show is way more concerned with making wisecracks or pulling dumb gags than having any genuine moments with its characters. There are genuine character moments, sure, but they're very, very few and far between. Ben himself is the worst casualty here, though don't think I noticed how badly they shafted characters like Gwen, Kevin, and poor Julie. Here's a noteworthy example. At one point, there's an episode all about how Ben is being too cocky and thinks he doesn't need training, since he has the Omnitrix. When there were plenty of times he'd already learned that lesson throughout the series, and even suggested he learn martial arts himself in Alien Force, which Omniverse later shows that he still knows how to do.
And how on earth did Pierce beat you?
I kinda let him win. What?
The moment I realized I would never truly see eye to eye with this show's take on Ben was the episode's special delivery, where not only do they, for some reason, give Ben his own Mr. Wilson, but they make it a punchline that Ben is not able to be humble and accept responsibility, something he was more than capable of in Ultimate Alien, Alien Force, and the original Ben 10!
Mr. Bauman, I don't know what to say. But I guess the right thing to do is... See ya!
Tennyson!
This isn't Season 3 Alien Force levels of character regression, it's a flat-out assassination. It's seriously frustrating because we constantly get flashes of who Ben is. He's not a petulant, uncaring jerk that barely has any attention span, but that certainly seems to be what Omniverse thinks. And that's kind of the weird part. It's said that the direction of the show was mandated to be more like the original series, but I have to wonder what the hell was going through the crew's minds, because any similarity Omniverse has to that show is superficial at best. Ben used to mistransform, now he's always mistransforming. Ben used to be kinda immature and cocky near the start, now he's insufferably obnoxious and is letting his ego grow out of control. Again, how is this like the original Ben 10? It's certainly not the Ben 10 I remember watching as a kid, and it's not the Ben 10 I've rewatched plenty of times as an adult. Omniverse isn't the original Ben 10. It's what a corporate office thinks it was. And that really frustrates me, because Ben was a character I really looked up to. I was the target audience for the original show. I was around 10 years old when it came out. I was still Ben's age by the time Ultimate Alien ended. Any excuses about it being aimed for kids is totally bogus, because the original series was aimed for the same audience. I always find it really suspicious that until Omniverse, Ben always aged in real time between the shows. Even Ultimate Alien went out of its way to say that time had passed, but Omniverse freezes him at 16. It's a subtle thing, but the message is clear. Ash Ketchum being kept eternally young has been driving people crazy for years, and without the reboot, who's to say Ben wouldn't have suffered the same fate? Another huge sore spot for me, and I imagine a lot of other fans, is the Osmosian retcon. Kuro already detailed it in one of his own videos, so I won't waste your time explaining it, but needless to say, it's one of the most egregiously mishandled retconning attempts Omniverse ever attempted, and honestly one of the worst retconning attempts I have ever seen. It steps on such a large swath of previously established story that even Kuro couldn't avoid retconning the retcon, just to try and make it all fit together. And he always strives for accuracy to source material. Retcons were certainly a thing in Alien Force onward, don't get me wrong, but often those retcons were usually done in such a way that filled in unseen gaps in the lore, or built off something in a small or subtle way that didn't really challenge what had come before, but more so put it in a new perspective. There were examples of it being not that well thought out, but they were usually fairly small scale in comparison to the larger ones, which strove to make as much logical sense within the universe as possible. But to offset some of this negativity, I will name some really great things about the show. Again, retcons aside, there are some fantastic episodes. And Then There Was Ben is honestly in my top 5 of the whole franchise. Seeing Alien X finally do things was absolutely cathartic as someone who remembers the long wait between appearances, only to do basically nothing at all in Ultimate Alien. And again, the animation and sound design is great, even if they ruin my favorite alien! Even despite some bizarre redesign choices on Derek's part, I do enjoy some takes on the aliens. Astrodactyl is one of the coolest alien names ever, and Vampire looks pretty cool. And I like Gravitac. I don't care much for these, but Ben 10 is really important to me. I grew up with the character. I saw a lot of myself in him as a kid, as a teenager, and even as an adult. Ben taught the audience that might isn't always right, that humility and kindness are important, that you shouldn't duck your responsibilities just because they inconvenience you, that anybody can be a hero. One of the reasons I love the And Then There Was arc of Omniverse so much is that No Watch Ben reminded me of the Ben we lost, the one that grew up. And in some level, I think the writers working on that episode must have been on a similar wavelength, because if that's what Ben was like all the time in the show, then maybe I really would have started to gel with it earlier on. And that really makes me sad. I wanted to love this show when it came out. I still do. I remember how excited I was when Ultimate Alien had its finale, how sad I was at Dwayne McDuffie's passing, and being so excited for the future. And I wanted so badly for it to be something I could enjoy. And I still do. It's the final hurrah of the original canon, and it had some really awesome ideas and characters. Some of my favorite episodes of the whole franchise came from it. But even after all of this, can I really say I like Omniverse? Not really. Do I hate Omniverse? No, but I don't love it either. Like I said, the No Watch Ben story was fantastic. Seeing Ben gain control of Alien X was awesome. And there's so many other episodes I find myself going back to just to enjoy myself with. But the characterization was god-awful. For every And Then There Were None, there's a dozen other bad episodes that just grate my patience. And I seriously think that trying to make the original Ben 10,000 the canon future was an astronomically stupid and canon-breaking idea. And Julie deserved better. Respectively, guys. It's not a perfect show. It's certainly not the original Ben 10, despite how much it's kicking and screaming that it wants to be. But that's a good thing. Omniverse is its own show, with its own value, and a lot of people like it for what it is. And there's so many people who can look past those flaws and find something that truly entertained them. And that's great, but even if I don't get it, Ben 10 is still a franchise we all love. And the fact that we're all still going strong and loving this series, even after all this time, well, there's something really special about that. And whether I like it or not, Omniverse is part of that legacy. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't guarantee that every video on this channel is going to be Ben 10, but I certainly will not make myself opposed to talking about it again, because like I said, Ben 10 is a very important franchise to me. I hope maybe you stick around and enjoy the trappings of the Slifer Red Dorm. And, hey, maybe if you do stick around, you'll find something else to enjoy. So, that's cool. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and, always remember to have a great day, and even better tomorrow, and it's hero time!
Oh man.